Today on Investigate TV Plus Weekend, college football's biggest checks aren't always for winning. They can also be for walking away. We found schools on the hook for record buyouts, sometimes to the irritation of fans and students.
Me and other researchers have interviewed students about this. Once they hear this, they're like, well, hold on a second, now it is affecting me.
Plus, a new shift in education, AI moving into daily learning. And in one model, the classroom looks nothing like what most of us grew up with.
There are no teachers at Alpha School, which can sound like a scary sentence.
And dozens of education departments are dialing up one state for its reading playbook after a turnaround defies its old reputation.
It makes me so proud, and it really brings tears to my eyes.
Investigate TV Plus Weekend starts right now. Hello and welcome to Investigate TV Plus Weekend. I'm Lee Zurich. College football programs have been on the hook for more than $1 billion in buyouts since 2004. Money paid for coaches not to coach. And this past season shattered records with more than $200 million written into fired coaches' contracts. Our Chris Nakamoto follows the paper trail from fan pressure and backroom emails to mega contract perks, and why more people are asking, who's really stuck with the Bills?
It's game day at the Grove in Oxford, Mississippi.
Hotty toddy, let's go.
And many of these rebels are realists.
Hotty toddy, go Rebels!
I think it was a terrible decision. Thought he was a better guy.
We hate him too.
Lane Kiffin's dramatic departure at the end of 2025 shook college football fans across America as teams chase gridiron glory. That's because he replaced one of the 15 head coaches fired in 2025 with contracted buyouts worth a total of $228 million. The top listed buyout amount of the year at LSU, Kiffin's new turf.
This is my responsibility. We've got to get it turned around.
That fired coach, Brian Kelly, who was abruptly fired following an abysmal performance of the Tigers against Texas A&M, losing 49-25 in October. Emails obtained by Investigate TV show fans demanded the university make a change, while that game was still in progress. Fire Brian Kelly now. This expletive is pathetic what I'm watching. I can't deal with it no more. Change came quickly. Within hours of these emails flooding the inbox of athletic director Scott Woodward, Kelly was gone. But his buyout to leave, $54 million, the second largest in college football history. And that wasn't the only buyout LSU was on the hook for.
I'm never going to make a decision on money. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know what my contract is here.
It also had to send money over to Oxford. Built into Kiffin's new contract, LSU paid hundreds of thousands to Ole Miss for his buyout and playoff wins. Plus, his new contract with LSU is now the second highest in college football, worth $91 million.
The coaches have all the leverage right now, whether they're leaving or coming in.
David Ridpath is a professor of sports business at Ohio University, a university that just terminated its football coach for cause in December. Brian Smith is now demanding a $2.5 million buyout after the university sent him packing.
The school is saying they're not going to pay the buyout. I think eventually they're going to have to. Here, it gets a little bit more acute because tuition and fees do go up when athletic expenses go up, and it does really affect the student. And our students are charged just in athletics alone well over $1,000 a year in student fees just to athletics, and you extrapolate that out with student loan debt. And we've interviewed students. I say we, me and other researchers have interviewed students about this. Once they hear this, they're like, well, hold on a second, now it is affecting me.
Our national investigative team looked at coaching data around the country and found the staggering $228 million in contracted buyouts in 2025 broke records for the largest buyouts in college athletics. Our team crunched the numbers and found 2025 buyouts could fund the entire 1,700 student freshman class at Harvard, one of America's most prestigious Ivy League colleges. covering tuition, room and board, with $100 million left over.
Again, it's spend, spend, and spend, and it's not managing those dollars like the rest of the university has to do. So it's about time we figure out a way, and working through Congress is a way to force college athletics programs to manage their revenue better.
In 2025, the SEC was on the hook for at least $138 million for 5 coaches not to work. Brian Kelly's buyout, $54 million. Kentucky's Mark Stoops, $38 million. Florida's Billy Napier, $21 million. Followed by Auburn's Hugh Freeze at nearly $16 million. And Arkansas's Sam Pittman, $9.3 million. If Arkansas had waited a bit longer, a reduced buyout agreement would have kicked in, saving the school $3.6 million.
Winning in football is probably too over-important, but it is very important in the SEC. And so no surprise, if you don't win in the SEC, you're not going to last very long. Not that that's right, but that is the culture that is set.
Our team found it wasn't just the SEC agreeing to pay out big bucks to sideline coaches and send them on their way. The Big Ten, Big 12, and ACC all have contracts with buyouts totaling millions and double digits for coaches to leave. Jonathan Smith of Michigan State's buyout was $33.5 million. Mike Gundy of Oklahoma State, $15 million. And Justin Wilcox of Cal Berkeley, $10.9 million. The buyouts are made possible through mega contracts, ultimately leaving the university on the hook. That money is sometimes paid for by private donors or athletic foundations, like in Brian Kelly's case.
Private money becomes state money. Just because it's privately donated doesn't mean that that is a free-for-all that can be just given to coaches and that's your get-out-of-jail-free card. All money is state money.
InvestigateTV reviewed the largest contracts from last year's fired coaches. We found money built in for courtesy vehicles from luxury car dealerships, access to private planes, golf memberships, millions of dollars worth of incentives if they win postseason games, and hundreds of thousands of dollars if the team achieves a 2.7 GPA. Incentives, some argue, shouldn't exist because coaches are already paid to do the job.
I think we've driven ourselves off the cliff, and now, sadly, Congress is going to have to be the ones to rescue us. I hate to say we have to rely on the government for anything, but it's where we are, Chris. And I think we're going to have national standards to bring some sanity back to college athletics. But the sanity that needs to be regulated is the leadership, not college athletes transferring, not college athletes getting paid. They should be getting that. The insanity is at the leadership level and at the coaching level. That's where the regulation needs to happen.
I love Lane Kiffin. I think it's a bigger school. I think that it's awesome that he went there.
That was sorry how he lived.
It was a great 6 years, but it was time for him to move on. He did.
Thanks for the past 6 years. That's all I can say.
There's no way a coach should be able to leave a team in the middle of the year to go, especially to an in-conference rival. It's ridiculous.
Back at the Grove, many rebels echo Rid Path's demand for reform. Lane Kiffin's abrupt exit has fans buzzing as a painful sting of betrayal lingers.
I don't care for him. I hope he's unsuccessful.
He made us better by leaving because now we are one instead of him.
In October, U.S. Representative Michael Baumgartner of Washington introduced a bill that would limit annual compensation and cap buyouts of any athletics department employee. The measure was introduced in the House and referred to the House Committee on Education, where it sits now.
I feel like sometimes kids are in school and they're just wasting their time and they're being babysat.
Coming up, parents are asking whether the classroom can work differently, and some schools are betting on artificial intelligence to make it happen. From a public district claiming score gains to a private model that puts kids on computers for core learning. We take you inside both next. Artificial intelligence is moving fast, and now it's moving in America's classrooms. A report from the Center for Democracy and Technology found during the 2024-25 school year, 85% of teachers used AI in the classroom, and 86% of students used it for school or personal use. Our Tisha Powell takes you inside two very different schools to see how AI is changing the way kids learn, and the questions some are raising about how far is too far.
We would do a Course Mojo activity to get us all on the same page. At Sumner County Schools in Hendersonville, Tennessee, the use of artificial intelligence isn't just encouraged, it's expected.
Reading with each other, maybe split it up just a little bit, however you need to.
During the 2024-2025 school year, 6th graders at Sumner County started using Mojo, an educational AI software designed to work one-on-one with students as a teaching assistant.
It's helping me give feedback to students who maybe are afraid to ask for help in the first place.
Sumner County Schools says it's already seen results. Students saw an 8% year-over-year increase in standardized test scores, which is more than double the statewide average improvement.
We fundamentally believe that all students can learn.
Across the country in Scottsdale, Arizona, one tech-forward school is using AI to create a new learning tool.
There are no teachers at Alpha School, which can sound like a scary sentence.
Instead, Matt Schinker is the lead guide at Alpha School, which he says is similar to a principal.
What it means is we as the adults in the space take ourselves out of being the authority figure who is in charge of teaching academics.
Alpha School is a self-proclaimed AI-powered private school where just for 2 hours per day, children learn their basic English and math skills one-on-one with a computer. Students spend the rest of the school day in workshops with their human guides, learning real life skills such as public speaking and financial literacy.
AI allows us to personalize that learning experience at scale for all of these kids, and then allowing the adult to shift towards supporting kids and unlocking their motivation.
With tuition at $40 grand per year, Alpha School claims its students consistently score in the top 1% in the National Measures of Academic Progress, or MAP test, a third-party test developed by the Northwest Evaluation Association.
The idea of 2 hours a day I'm very critical of.
Arizona Superintendent of Public Instruction Tom Horn thinks AI is a great educational tool, but believes 2 hours is too little for core instruction.
It's definitely inadequate. I mean, if they have a method where kids learn more quickly, they should take them that much further with at least 4 hours a day of instruction, not 2 hours a day of instruction.
We're able to do what we do in 2 hours because it's hyper-personalized, just like if you were working one-on-one with somebody.
While Horn disagrees AI can replace a teacher, Alpha School parent Vanessa Rourke says the real-life instruction outside of the 2 hours is valuable.
I feel like sometimes kids are in school and they're just wasting their time and they're being babysat. And that's not what I wanted for my kids. I want them to have a true understanding and love of learning. And I think with the 2-hour model, it's just a lot more realistic.
Back in Tennessee, the superintendent says its AI program helps teachers and parents by generating lesson plans and tracking test scores.
I think it's one of the best things that we've done because it empowers students, it empowers parents, it empowers teachers.
He says Mojo works with the district's curriculum to create lessons that empower students to control their own learning while pushing them in areas where they might need help.
It speaks their language, and so I think that that's been really cool to watch how they grow based on something that relates to them.
Sumner County says Mojo was so successful it's currently using the AI system for 6th through 8th grade lessons and could expand it to high school classes.
Now, miracle implies that humans had nothing to do with that, and so it's not a miracle.
With AI moving into classrooms, the pressure for results is only growing. Next, how one state went from near the bottom in reading scores to the top 10, prompting dozens of states to ask how. Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms. New results from the nation's report card show reading scores slipping again across the country. Dozens of states are now asking for advice from a state that used to rank near the bottom and had a major turnaround, Mississippi. Our Andy Parati looks at the policies behind the progress.
Chapter the 9th, Big Fight. Ready or not, here I come!
Cameron Davis reads with the enthusiasm of an action hero.
It's our only chance to save the kid. Run! The name of the book is Dog Man, A Tale of Two Kitties.
A Mississippi third grader with a love for reading that started at an early age.
Once you get the hang of it, you got the hang of it.
But it takes work.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of work. I'll hunt you down till my last breath.
Cameron's reading proficiency highlights a state experiencing literary success.
Lil Petey, are you okay?
That feels like a miracle.
Don't worry, he can be repaired.
According to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the nation's report card, Mississippi once ranked almost dead last, 49th in 2013, for its fourth grade reading scores. Today, it ranks 9th best in the nation, and it leads the country #1 for overall reading improvement.
This is called a positivity pause.
Amanda Malone is the state's literacy director. How did Mississippi do it?
A lot of times people call it the Mississippi miracle. Now, miracle implies that humans had nothing to do with that, and so it's not a miracle.
So don't call it a miracle.
Don't call it the Mississippi miracle. It is really a marathon.
That marathon started in 2013 when state lawmakers passed sweeping legislation, which includes funding literacy coaches to help teachers in the classroom, retraining teachers in science-based reading instruction, and passing a law requiring third graders must read at grade level before they're promoted to the fourth grade. Why third grade? It's the year students move from learning to read to decoding words and reading to learn.
What's another word for beginning?
Shamika Harris is a teacher at Shirley Elementary in Jackson, Mississippi.
B.
At first, she wasn't a fan of holding third graders back if they weren't reading on grade level.
Sometimes students, they have a bad day. Maybe they just didn't do well on that test, but that doesn't mean that that he or she doesn't know the material. But now I feel like, okay, we know about the test, prepare, start at pre-K, and make sure the students are getting everything that they need to ensure their success for the third grade assessment.
Mississippi's education leaders say 37 states, including Florida, Texas, and North Carolina, have now reached out to the state for literacy policy guidance and support.
So before we start,
Malone says the intent of Mississippi's law is focused on intervention, not retention.
At the third grade level, it's the time. It is the time to determine, all right, is this child reading on grade level? For the purpose of them being ready for college, being ready for a career. That's one of our goals here in Mississippi, to make sure that whatever those children do, that we have prepared them to be able to do it well. It's a big deal. It is really a big deal.
Despite its success, Mississippi still faces a perception problem after decades of dismal testing scores. Here's what candidates for New Jersey governor said during an October debate.
We need to do what Mississippi and Louisiana did, high-impact curriculum.
Interesting how he keeps citing places like Louisiana and Mississippi, I think some of the worst schools in the entire nation.
When you hear that, what goes to your mind?
Well, first of all, it's wrong. That's not accurate information.
Today, Mississippi's graduation rates are higher than the national average.
Peel.
And testing assessments show there is no better state in the country for low-income or students of color to learn to read.
It makes me so proud, and it really brings tears to my eyes because, again, literacy is a human right. It is for everyone.
ADHD, don't fail me now.
Cameron agrees.
I think that is awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce? It makes you proud?
Really proud.
You know, Mississippi used to be the one that we could always make an assumption about. Well, not anymore. Don't call it a miracle, it's a marathon, and we're still on it.
In addition to improving on those benchmarks, Mississippi has also elevated its expectations and reading proficiency requirements. Child care bills are hitting some families harder than rent. After the break, we show you where care is most expensive and what parents can do when the price feels overwhelming. Raising a child isn't cheap, and in some parts of the country, parents say childcare can feel like a second house payment. A recent study compares the cost of full-time infant care to the average 2-bedroom rent in the 100 largest metro areas, and in 11 of them, childcare is even higher. Our Carice Jackman looks at where costs are highest and what options families have when the bill feels overwhelming in this week's Watching Your Wallet.
Every parent wants safe, reliable childcare. But for many families, that peace of mind comes with a price tag that rivals some of their biggest bills.
There are definitely places in this country where childcare is more expensive than rent. And it's a really, really tough situation because it's not like you can just cancel childcare like a Netflix subscription.
LendingTree Chief Consumer Finance Analyst Matt Schultz led a new analysis that compares full-time, center-based infant care in the 100 largest U.S. metro areas to the cost of renting a typical 2-bedroom apartment. He found infant care averages about $1,280 a month, while a 2-bedroom rent averages about $1,716. But in 11 metros, childcare actually costs more than rent.
That's not necessarily the case in the big urban cities, but once you get into smaller cities and even like rural areas and that sort of thing, there's just not enough supply of childcare to meet the demand of all the families out there.
Researchers combined data from Child Care Aware of America with Federal Housing and Urban Development rent figures to map where the gap is widest. Springfield, Massachusetts tops the list for infant care costs relative to rent, followed by metros like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Wichita, Kansas, Omaha, Nebraska, and Baltimore, Maryland.
The really good childcare places can basically charge what they want because there's so many people knocking down their door to try and get in.
If you're worried about how to afford childcare, Schultz recommends starting the conversation early, even before a baby arrives, and building those costs into your monthly budget.
Schultz also suggests checking whether family, friends, or local programs can help reduce the number of childcare hours you can pay for. Even a quick search for childcare resources near me can turn up options. And if you do look at a personal loan, compare offers carefully and make sure the monthly payment fits your budget so you don't create a new long-term problem. And that's it for us. Thanks for joining us here on Investigate TV Plus Weekend. You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes.